Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Minnesota RØKKR co-stream. My name is Ashley, aka MiDNiTE on with IKON. As always, what's good, IKON? How are you doing today?
Doing great. We're right on
He's
time
just
here. Let's go.
right on time. Actually, we're ahead of schedule today. Usually, the match was supposed to start at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. The matches before us went a little bit quicker than anticipated, so the RØKKR match will be starting a little bit early, tiny bit accelerated, not too much. But hey, we here. It's the Florida home series. RØKKR is playing up against Seattle Surge today, and I know this is dramatic, and let me just get into the hype of it, okay? This is a must-win match if you want to be in the upper bracket at the first LAN since over a year ago in Call of Duty. So, hey, this is a big day for us today.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. And at first glance, you kind of look at those Group A standings and you think, all right, Minnesota's 1-1, off to a decent start. Seattle's 0-2. They're currently in last place. They're way down in the bottom when it comes to rankings. But with that being said, their most recent match was against Atlanta FaZe. They ended up losing the Map 1 hardpoint by only like 50 points. And then the Map 2 S&D ended up going to round 11. They did lose that round 11, but they've kind of shown, and it seems like it's almost been the same story throughout the entire year. They've just shown that they're right there, whether it's in a map, whether it's in an entire match. It's like it doesn't matter what they're playing, when they're playing. They're always right there. They just haven't quite been able to get over that hump yet. But even with that being said, I think with the maps and the way that records go and stuff like that, I think we should be in a pretty comfortable spot here to go 2-1 so far in the group. And then really all you need to do is just get one more victory, and that should be enough to put us in that winner's bracket. But one of the things that we always say, especially on those breakdown videos, is you just have to start off by making sure you beat those teams that are underneath you. And we were able to do that in our last match against Paris. And if this one goes our way, those are the two teams that are under us in those standings. So maybe another potential win against LA Thieves. That would be enough to get us those 3 wins and get us into the winner's bracket. So still a lot of work to be done, but we're slowly but surely getting closer.
Yeah, we're not there yet, and listen, it's so vitally important. I know it's group play. It's not as hype as tournament play. I agree, but these dubs or L's are so important. They're so critical to making sure you start in the upper bracket at the actual tournament, which is the Stage 4 major. And that's going to be our first LAN in CDL since, God, must have been February or March of 2020. It's been over a year. I'm ready. No more ping wars. No more excuses from anybody in the league. Let's go to LAN. Let's see what the frick happens. And it's so, I think, crucial for RØKKR to start in that upper bracket to give themselves, just maximize that LAN opportunity, right? You never know. You never know. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast this week. In typical Minnesota sports fashion, it feels like kind of how the roster has evolved this year. It feels like it's okay. Here we go. It's towards the end of the year. We're doing okay. We're probably most likely, bar like a complete disaster, going to make top 8 and make it to champs. But can we get there? And can we actually get hot at the right time and have a solid finish to the year? Those are the things I'm starting to think about at this point in the season. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself because, hey, we still got to beat Surge to get in the upper bracket, to go to the first LAN in 2021. And I don't know. I'm really, really excited to see how the boys do. We could talk about maybe specific players when we get closer to the match, but let's talk about the maps, the vetoes, the records, where the heck we are sitting versus Seattle here. Obviously, Seattle, struggle city, population, all of Seattle Surge this year. I feel for them, honestly. I mean, we talk about it on the podcast a lot, but I think they're better than they perform, but they're so close, but they just never really quite get over that hump. But that's you can't take them lightly at all, because they actually, played pretty decent recently. I feel like that's been the kind of the story of the whole year. But anyway, so the maps are going to be Hardpoint on Moscow, Search and Destroy on Raid, Control on Garrison, Hardpoint on Checkmate, and then Search and Destroy on Moscow. Let's talk like map records, or should we talk vetoes first? Do you want to go over the vetoes of how we got here?
Yeah, I think that, every once in a while we look at these matchups before they go ahead and start. And there's times where I'm not really quite sure with the vetoes. There might have been some maps where, maps get vetoed and both teams have like a negative record. And it might just be, okay, we're not feeling super comfortable there. But there are two maps out of basically all of the rotation that Seattle is really good on. And we were able to veto both of those. So the first one is Apocalypse Hardpoint. It's a map where we're okay, we're 2-2, but they're 4-1. Every time that they play Apocalypse Hardpoint, they just look great. And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of like medium range gun battles where Octane and Gunless can get set up and really be dominant in that fashion. But we were able to get Apocalypse Hardpoint out. And then the other one is Express S&D. And for whatever reason, we've now played it 5 times. We only have 1 victory. And every time we watch that, it seems like we're a little bit inconsistent. We're not quite sure where we want to go, both on offense and defense. Looks like, we're trying different things back and forth. But that's a map where Seattle's 4-1. Again, it's very similar to Apocalypse, just in that you get a lot of those medium length gun battles from like top train to top train. And that's where Octane and Gunless seem to work out best. So both of those ended up being vetoed. A couple things didn't go our way, like we were not going to be seeing raid control in this matchup, and deservedly so. I mean, Seattle is 0-8 on the year when it comes to raid control. So we're not going to see that one. But even with that being said, Seattle is the 12th ranked control team in the CDL. So they're not really that great on any of the control maps, but we'll see what happens. Garrison is definitely their best. They're 3-7. That's the map that we're going to be playing today. But as of late, every time we've played Control Garrison, Standy and Attach have went absolute off. That map is all about getting control in the middle of the map and just applying constant pressure as much as you possibly can. And that's what those two excel at. So when it comes to vetoes, sure, we're not able to play the control raid that we're so good at. It's kind of like our bread and butter, one of those map 3s that we can really look forward to getting a dub on, but we were able to take out both of their better maps. So all in all, I think it's a wash. And when it comes down to the maps that we are playing, I think that things look like they're in our favor.
Yeah, honestly, looking at the map records here for this series, we've got Hardpoint on Moscow. We are 2-5. Seattle's 3-7. Hardpoint Moscow has been a journey for us lately, right? In the Optic match, we almost pulled that crazy comeback. I think we also played it against Paris, and it was a little dicey. So it'll be really interesting to see, like, how, like, how we can kind of keep improving on that map and just how we can keep improving on Hardpoint in general. Update me if you can. I know last weekend we were watching the match and you guys couldn't hear us because we switched to the CDL feed during the actual gameplay. But IKON and I were talking, and the caster, I think it was Miles or Chance, said that Minnesota RØKKR is the worst hardpoint team in the league statistically, like record-wise. Is that still true? IKON, do you know? Are we like maybe like 11th now? Are we okay?
Right now we're 11th, but
yes,
but it's getting better. I mean, I think from the beginning of the year we started in such a hole that it was kind of tough to recover from that.
It's true.
So right now we're 13-23, but the teams that are right above us, like London has 15 wins, Paris and Seattle have 14 wins. So if we just continue the pace that we've been playing at as of late, seems like many more map 1 hard points have been going in our favor throughout stage 3 and a little bit before that in stage 2. Just continue to win those map 1s. I think we get 1 or 2 more wins, we're going to go from 11th up to like 7th in overall hard point stats. So even though it seems a little ugly right now, I think that as we see stage 4 and stage 5 play out, I think it'll get a little bit better as time goes on.
Yeah, the hardpoint has definitely been improving. And so when we go to the S&D raid, which is map 2, RØKKR is 2-3, Seattle's 2-5. One of the best maps of all time, raid, Search and Destroy, love it. If we can't play control on raid, at least we could play search on raid. I'm wondering how this one's going to go because RØKKR's S&D has not looked good recently. We, and I too, thought, oh yeah, Major Maniac's back in the lineup, like Search and Destroy is about to just, statistically, let's freaking go. And we got our butts handed to us in Search and Destroy in our last two matches. I've theorized on the co-stream and in the podcast. I won't go too far into my little conspiracy theory, or it's not even a conspiracy, but like my theory is just, Mike's back in the lineup, MiDNiTE's back in the lineup. They're trying to just really make sure like we are no longer the worst hardpoint team in the league. Make sure our control is still pretty solid. I'll be wondering though to see if Search and Destroy, if there's a level up there in that game mode for this match.
Yeah, and the other two game modes, the respawn game modes, control and hardpoint, it's far more easier to just plug and play just because, you scrim that all the time. You go through all the map rotations multiple times every single day. So it's not like there's a huge variation when it comes to strategy and what teams are trying to do. Like, basically by, I don't know, the end of the first month that the game's been out, like, okay, this is how this spawn works. This is what we want to try to accomplish. And everybody that plays basically knows what they're doing and what they're trying to do. It's just who can execute the best at that point. So hardpoint and control, maybe there's a few slight differences here and there, especially in control. Control's where it gets a little bit more dicey, but when it comes to search, there are strategies all over the place. It seems like even now we're seeing, different lines of sight, different setups, different pushes, and we're sitting here basically about halfway through stage 4. So I just think overall, when it comes to what the guys are most comfortable with right now, I think S&D is just one of those game modes where it takes a little bit more time. I'm sure that as we see things, proceed and play out throughout stage 4 and eventually into stage 5, I think they'll get better just because we already saw it in the very first matchup with Mike being on, back on board. We already saw the difference that he makes and, the different sort of attack angles and what he's trying to accomplish on the map. So I think it'll get smoothed out here over the next couple stage, and that's the good thing, is that we still have the rest of stage 4 and all of stage 5 to work on those things before the major actually ends up getting here.
You got dang right. Like I said, let's get hot at the right time, baby. Let's prime ourselves for an end of the year just run. You never freaking know. So map 3 is Control Garrison. Like you mentioned, we're not getting to see Control Raid. Seattle has never won that map ever. It's crazy to say they have not won. It's one of our better control. It's definitely our best control map. So we ended up with Garrison. RØKKR's record on that is 3-3. Seattle's is 3-7. I don't know, man. I'll be interested to see. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be the first Control Garrison since Major Maniac's been back. That's probably false. But hey, the guys have been looking a little bit better on it. I know there was a few matches ago, Standy was just mid-map, like an absolute psychopath, just taking over. And I'm hoping that can happen again today. Standy and Attach can take over.
Yeah, no, it is the first Garrison control that we've seen with Mike. The last two controls that have been played have been Raid. So we haven't actually seen Control Garrison since the London match. So I think, again, with the pace that Mike likes to play at, I think that this will probably even be a better map and mode than it was before, just because we've seen even on Raid, even that Control Raid against Paris, we mentioned time and time again how different it was seeing Mike get those kills mid-map on Raid, and then rather than rotate over towards Pool or towards Tiki, towards the top of the map, he's hitting zigzag, he's getting into art, he's being super aggressive and trying to get kills while he's being aggressive. And I think that sort of play style, it really helps in Raid, but especially on Garrison, where there's only really one major route through the middle of the map. I think his aggression and being up in that enemy spawn is really going to help on that map 3.
I think so too. I think Mike playing, Major Maniac, I'll try to use gamer tags. Major Maniac playing a little bit, just not that like traditional mini-R role that you would think, where he's just posted up turret style, which there is a time and a place for that type of gameplay. But I think especially on Control, when you're trying to just get control of the map, make sure that you're getting those objectives or Guardian, like it's so, and because of the spawns are so static, like it's so important for the guys to get great pressure on the map. So hey man, we'll get into our predictions, but I know, and no jinx, knock on wood, but it's looking pretty good so far. But then there's a little bit of a turn. The hard point on Checkmate is map number 4. Minnesota's 2-5. Seattle's 2-5. I think I speak for everyone that hardpoint checkmate is one of my least favorite things to watch. It's just so dicey, man. What do you think? If it goes to that map, is it going to be as dicey as we think, or do you think we'll be able to handle it?
I don't see a single map in this map set that we'll be playing that, it's not like, oh man, this is one where Seattle's 4-1. We'll see what happens in Apocalypse. They're really good there. We kind of struggle or whatever. All of these, like, we're not really great on them, but they aren't either. Like, every single one of these, 3-7, 2-5, 3-7, 2-5, like, they're really not great at any of these maps. I do think that Octane and Gunless are playing super well. I think that they're a threat any single time that they take the bat. But I think what they're really missing is they're still missing that SMG presence. So when it comes to checkmate on hardpoint, it is a map where, a lot of those lines of sight are a bit longer, like P1 or P3. Like, if you're trying to escape P2 or P5, there's just so much open space. That's where Octane and Gunless can really kind of go off. It's much more like a Craig map than it is a 74U map. But either way, I just think it'll be important for the SMGs to come out and do their thing. And then Major Maniac and Priesta just have to match what Gunless and Octane are doing around the map.
It's all about just, I don't know, checkmate's so hard to watch. It's about securing the rotations, winning those crucial gunfights. And I don't know, I feel like I know we're the 11th ranked hardpoint team in the league, but I feel like there's been a lot of improvement in that game mode recently for us. So knock on wood, hopefully we're not even to a map 4 and we can get out of here quick with the dub. But then we've got S&D Moscow, the RØKKR clutch map. Shouts to accuracy for one of the most insane clutches I've ever seen in Call of Duty history on Search and Destroy Moscow. But Minnesota's 4-3 on the map. Seattle's 1-2. I was actually kind of what's the word? I can't think of the word. I didn't predict that Seattle had only played Moscow 3 times this year. That just seems so low. Like, yeah. I don't understand. They just must never really want it in their map pool, which makes me kind of curious why they're that inexperienced on the map. But I mean, what do you think? Like, if it goes to map 5, and with how the Surge has been looking lately for RØKKR, and is even for Surge, when you look at their most recent matchups, are we shook if it goes to map 5, Icon?
I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't go to map 5. I don't know. I don't have. If you're talking about like which game modes do you have the most confidence in, definitely not Search and Destroy right now. I think it'll get there. It's just where the squad is at right now. It was very similar to that Paris match. So that map 4, that hard point against Paris, it was like 250 to 247. Like, it came down to the wire. And had Paris come through and won that map 4, I really wasn't super confident if what would happen as it went to map 5, because Paris was looking really good, and S&D, they were able to take that standoff S&D against Atlanta, who's one of the best. I think they're the best S&D team in the game right now. So I don't know. I mean, I think if you're looking at a path to victory right now, first of all, there's no reason why it shouldn't be a 3-0. I think if you just come out and play your game and everybody steps up and performs, I think it could easily be a 3-0. But if it goes to map 5, I still think that we're favorited in a map 5, seeing it we're 4-3, they're 1-2. But it's definitely, I would feel much more confident being up 2-1 and closing out on map 4 than I would be 2-2 closing out on map 5. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe for me as well. It looks like the guys are about to get started. So let's get some freaking hype in the chat, baby. Let me know, chat, what are your predictions? We did our predictions on the Rotation podcast earlier this week. I predicted RØKKR would win 3-1. Let's take the respawns. Maybe we drop the Search. Where are you at, Icon?
3-1. I said the same thing. See what happens in the Search.
Great minds think alike. Let's see if we can get ahead with this hard point. Guys, we will be back after the first map here to break it down, and we'll see you guys then. Enjoy the match.
Who's going to find the best form today? I mean, that's what it felt like in the last series. Just who was on point, who had guns up, who caught fire within that map. Felt like who was taking the map. We'll see if it plays a similar role in this one, but we'll start things off with the RØKKR side of things, and onto the opening break we go.
And just early on, looking at the pressure that maybe Pristini and Classic are taking to attach and standing, not an easy SMG duo to go up against, and how those ARs are battling. Major Maniac, a slow start, just trying to wait for his teammates to make a push, but is able to find that opening, pick on Octane. at least open up the street. But nice time, nice break from Seattle Surge.
Beautifully done so far, but MiDNiTE has been able to inch his way forward a bit. The rest of his team working off a spawn, but yeah, when you get the strong side spawn, you get all the time at first. You're feeling pretty good if you are Surge. Just classic and gunless, able to chain together kills. MiDNiTE is still tucked away. He's yet to drop. He's been taking his gunfight wins, but finally, he will get ripped off the map, and I'll see where the spawns come in. It'll be a safe spawn for Surge. Spawn out for RØKKR based on the setup, and now Surge in a good position to get a nice lead built here on second.
Yeah, but Minnesota RØKKR, they find a couple of kills that give them some map to work with. And well, with that, Standy, he's going to take down 2. You do have Octane and Gunless, both Krigs in police. So he's trying to keep them off the point and buy time for the submachine guns to get to this side of the map. And Gunless, well, he's done a good job so far. Able to find 2. RØKKR still collecting that time. Nice patience from Attach as he almost finds 4 in a row. Beautifully done by RØKKR. That was one of those situations, kind of what we saw last match, where that opens up into a 70-80 point lead early on.
Yeah, I mean, Gunless was the only one I think got kills during that sequence. I mean, he gets 2, such a great job, but all of his teammates trying to track back and help all get caught. So ultimately, it ends up being a RØKKR break. They'll soak up the time. They'll get the lead change, and Surge will have to focus on our next hard point. But Attach and crew starting to layer the map.
And it looks like he does spawn out. He does win the gunfight. And he's probably going to try and hold that kill cam, but he's going to spawn so far away. Probably the worst possible spawn that you can get. That was due to Octane's position on the bus street. He was ready for that push. Seattle Surge, the setup they need, and Minnesota RØKKR, you're not even going to get to this point until there's around, 30, 35 seconds left. Looks like with that pick, they will keep them off it now. Andy, maybe an opening here to break this setup, or at least get control for that next hill.
Well, he's trying to do it all. All his teammates drop around the hard point. RØKKR, they survive the first blow. They bring it back on second, but excellent job by Surge here on third. So it's going to be on RØKKR now as we go back and forth to try and lock down this bus side. Let's go to an Astro listening with Minnesota RØKKR.
In gold next. You want that closet?
Okay. Hey, might go pillar. Link pillar.
Stop
Pillar. I'm real pillar. Pillar done.
Nice.
Trusting me. Pillar done.
Octane
dead old.
Watch our back.
Yeah,
here. There's one there.
Yeah, I'm looking at bus stop.
Wait for the bus stop.
I'm looking for the guy behind us.
One's flashed there.
You looking for the guy behind us?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in bank.
I'm
Bank one bullet. 3 bank.
I'm a nade over your bank.
Pinch me.
I
don't see bank.
I got one. I'm laying down time.
Pristine bank.
Laying down time here.
I'm going in gold. Quick.
Pristine, look over me.
Classic.
Yo,
Mid,
classic,
dead.
Nice.
I saw this guy. He's bus. Pristine. Yeah, bus. One shot bus, and one's behind you, laundry window.
Bus. One shot bus.
Gunless
and
Me
Pristine
and
near
Dylan are
bus.
working bus.
Alright,
I'm about to
Nice.
go.
Pristine is close bus.
I need out by bus.
Alright, I'm here.
I'm gonna go mid here.
Yeah,
Wait for a sec.
I'm nading.
I'm coming gold.
We can jump out when
Ready?
they're
Let's
close.
go.
I'm jumping out.
I'm in gold. I'm getting angle street.
Same
One's
from the car. One's gold.
not gold. One's gold.
Pristine, one shot on you.
Close bus.
I'm
There's
staying
two by
out. Staying out plat.
Yeah, we're spawning deep.
Okay.
One's
Yeah,
pit.
we
Take
can
it
stay
down.
towards
Nice.
Last guy.
Street, gunless
Nice,
dead.
one more.
Last guy's on ult.
I'm about to go new.
He's funny bus stop.
They're gonna get splits now. I think that guy's gonna spawn behind us. I think one guy's spawn street. Pristine street.
I got one street.
One
Nice,
back
we're
up.
looking for 2.
Gunless back to laundry for sure.
Pressing
Okay,
classic.
here.
Gunless and
I'll look
same.
for him.
Gunless
I'll
and
look for
same.
Gunless.
Oh,
I'm gonna help
got truck, gunless.
I'm gonna
Okay,
help
I'm behind him in a
I'm on your
second.
street.
Down.
Got truck, one shot.
Dead.
It can be
Nice,
Eskies.
looking
They're
for
gonna be Eskies on me.
Octane, right?
I'm pitching dark. I'm pitching dark.
He's on me close. Pristine and
I'll drop ticket.
classic.
I'm staying alive. I'm one shot by
We're
nade.
looking
I'm
over
one
you
shot.
flat. We have
One's
over you
by,
flat.
what's it called?
I got one hill. I'm about to cross Indian hill.
Oh, never mind,
He's
I'm
ticket side hill.
I have your ticket slot.
Yeah, ticket and dark. I'm one shot.
Eskies in the hill. 2 by
I
dark.
need your push. I need your push now.
Fire.
Yes,
Fire,
I'm
fire,
shot.
fire,
One
fire.
street.
2 in hill.
I got naded.
Shelling fire, I think.
I don't see him. No, ticket.
I'll just ticket.
Ticket challenge. Ticket.
One shot.
Hill gunless. I spawn street, guys. Take your time.
Oh, yeah,
One shot fire side.
Watch it. Eskies push.
He's
push me.
Well, Joe, we get a nice long listen in there with RØKKR. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think they were always on top of who was the last left alive, which I always like hearing. Hearing names is something I think is just so key in those listen-ins. But, I mean, it was pretty calm, pretty cool, collected. The big thing is that Seattle Surge has 2 big breaks. And the way this map was looking is who was going to find the first break. But they're able to do it at that third hill. They're able to, at that fourth hill. They're able to do it again there at P1. And because of that, they break the spawns. They have a nice setup, and they have the lead.
Well, Gunless is going to be working towards streaks as well. Well, never mind. As I start that sentence, he drops. I think he was on 5 or 6 in a row. So no streaks for Surge, but you get the flip, you get the control as you were breaking down. Now on Standy and the entries here. What openings can they find? 2 will fall, 3 will fall. Maybe the opening they need, but the human turret still set up in the back line. It's going to be Octane. Now 13-11, 4 in a row, standing tall, finding the picks. 1 still all the way in the back. That'll be Standy.
But it's like you want that 20 seconds, right? Like he's finding those kills. But this is giving Seattle an advantage on the other side of the map. So you put a lot of pressure on Attach and on to Priesta. Now it's all down to Priesta. And you see it. He's basically in a 1v3 right now. His closest teammate is MiDNiTE, who's going to try and come to the front hill. And I like this from Seattle. They're just going to leave him. They're not going to focus on him too much right now. And Octane's going to gun him down. Beautifully done from Seattle Surge. They don't panic. They get into their setup. They make sure they lock this down.
Looking to eclipse this 200-point mark is Classic and Octane still holding it down. The other turret and Gunless, he's hitting as well. 18 and 10 with 3 in a row. Nobody in the hardpoint for the moment. Just trying to deal with the flurry, the flood of players coming in from RØKKR. They seem to be up to the task. There's 1 leaking all the way in behind. That'll be Standy. Trying to get key kills in transition, but as they get in with, 20 seconds or so left, everybody spawns out street from Surge. Like, all right, we'll get set up for next.
Again, like a break just a little too late. You'd like it maybe 10 seconds earlier to at least split that time. They do find a couple of kills. Yeah, have the rotation. Pristini is the only player from the Seattle Surge that can mess with this setup. And he might have done it. He's able to win a gunfight. The stick is there. This gives his teammates the bank spawn. What a moment that could be for Pristini.
Unfortunately, the guns are hot for RØKKR. They're getting picked apart. It's MiDNiTE now on the verge of earning streaks. 5 in a row for him. Kill after kill going the way of RØKKR. But now MiDNiTE will get dropped, so no streaks through. Still a 40-point advantage for Surge. Still 30 seconds on this hard point as well, so RØKKR can get this close. But really, I mean, first has just been dominated. And while the control of second has been so good for Surge, it's got to be better here from RØKKR if you're going to bring it back.
I mean, a really good job to at least cut it down to around 30 seconds. On the opposite side of the map, though, Gunless is able to win a gunfight. His head is on the rotation, not only for P1, but for P2 as well. Got the help now of Octane. So him and Octane locking things down. On the other side of the map, it's the SMG duo. And everyone is finding kills. That's going to be 4 dead. They all win their one-on-ones. Seattle Surge in a prime spot to close out this game.
Well, it feels like it's been decided here at mid-map. I know there's been a lot more moments, but just the reset of each hardpoint rotation when you get back to first, they have been so good from the get-go. And how hard has that made it for RØKKR?
I mean, yeah, obviously really difficult. But again, when they've kind of needed to get in, they have to extend this game. I mean, the breaks, they're not coming in early on, but they're coming in at a time where maybe they can flip P1 instead. He's just running through the middle of the map. He's winning every single gunfight. Seattle Surge, well, they were in that prime position, but not so much anymore.
6 straight for Standy. They still got a shot. Trailing just over 30 as he continues to run, roam, and fry, but Gunless will put him down.
Octane spawned in the back. Octane spawned all the way in the back. He's behind him.
Looks like they're picking it up. They're starting to flood towards him. Can Octane get some of these key kills?
Doesn't know he's here. Yeah, he's here.
Oh, well, the way Attach was playing, I thought he realized it. Okay, but it's not going to matter because he gets attached as well. Maybe blessed a bit with the spawn, get into the back, Surge now can put it away. Just over 30 seconds to go in the hard point. 20 points needed for the victory. In the bane of RØKKR's existence has been first and second. Surge can shut it down here. But every time I feel like I'm saying it, Standy makes a play.
They keep making plays to keep their life alive. They just want to get it to the next hill. But here's the problem. They're losing it here and on the rotation. Gunless is already across the map. Well, Octane's like, no, I'm putting this one away. I'm going to do it myself as he finds five in a row. He gives Minnesota RØKKR a really bad spawn. They need one more second. They're not going to win it here. On the other side of the map, though, like I said, Gunless is already there. And it seemed like chaos there for a bit, but Seattle Surge able to lock it down. And Octane, still a little blessed with that spawn.
Yeah, and you know, this has been, we've talked through a little bit for Surge, and they've been setting, you know, some records in a bad way as of late. They need to win here, because when you think about Call of Duty League kicking off last year, the longest match losing streak for any team is Minnesota RØKKR last year. They lost 10 straight matches. Right now, Surge are on 9 straight. They lose this, they tie the record for the worst losing streak since the inception of the league. That is one you want to avoid. So they're looking for a win. They're looking for a win big time. They're able to start off strong here on Moscow.
Yeah, just nice back and forth battle early on. Obviously, you have that spawn come in, but I really felt like it was those breaks when we got to the listen, and Seattle Surge were able to break the P4 hill here, that bust, the first hill, when RØKKR got to that setup. But just taking a look at the stats, I mean, what Standy goes off, but Attach really struggles. On the other side, it's a pretty balanced effort, which is what you want to see. Both the subs are around 4,000, both the ARs right around 4,500 damage put in.
Yeah, you gotta think Attach will turn it around a little bit. I mean, we were on with him for a sequence. We were watching and listening where I don't know, his like shot didn't seem on point. Maybe it's need to warm up, get hot a bit. We'll see if it'll happen through the search and destroy.
Well, I don't think we definitely did not predict that, IKON. We were thinking, oh yeah, the hard point's been on the up and up lately. The Search and Destroy needs to improve. I think we all feel, obviously, you want to come out and start with a dub in map 1, get that first, the first map to go your way in the series, and we're just not able to. Like, what's the breakdown of, like, why couldn't we ever get control of any rotation, and each retake seemed to take forever? Where's your head at on that hard point?
I will say, even with all of that, it seemed like we played it properly, and had Octane not gotten that spawn, I mean, you have full control of P2, the right-hand side of the map. You're at over 200 points. So if you're just able to get like 1 team wipe, maybe 2 team wipes, you end up closing the game and winning that map 1 on that final P2. So even with, I mean, you can go through and talk about how it seemed like basically every hill we didn't have rotations. We're trying to push spawns. By the time we're actually able to get through, then you're really just fighting for scrap time, except for over towards P4, bottom side of the map. Seemed like we did a fairly consistently good job over towards P4. But P2 and P3, those were the big ones, and it seemed like we'd try to push, we'd get wiped. Our second push, we'd finally be able to get through, but at that time, sure, you're getting the last 16 or 20 seconds, but you're giving up rotations for P3, which is coming next. But even with all that, got to give Standy his props. He almost and probably should have won that entire map with the spree that he went on over towards P1. He literally all by himself pushed into P1, was able to clear out everybody inside of P1. He jumped over half wall, was able to kill Octane. He pushed out the spawn. He got Pristini, as Pristini was the last person that was back, and that's when spawns flipped. And had Octane not gotten that fluke spawn, I really do think that probably would have been a map 1 victory. Even if they don't come through and close out on that P2, Seattle wouldn't have been able to win on P3. It would have went to P4, and that was our best hill throughout the first 2 sets of rotations. So I don't know. It seems a little bit unlucky, but if I'm the guys, I just have to make sure that I'm not discouraged. I believe the last time we played Seattle, it ended up taking a reverse sweep to win. So let's hope it doesn't get that far. Let's just come out, try to win the map 2 SND, and then go up 2-1 with the control when we get there.
Yeah, definitely feeling confident about the control, but not really feeling very confident about the search. Just based on, how the team has looked since Major Maniac came back into the lineup. I think that we will see them turn it around here eventually. I'm not sure if it'll be right now, but I do hope that it will, for the sake of getting into the upper bracket at the next major. So anyway, we'll throw you over to map 2 here on the CDL feed. IKON and I will be back to break down the action after this raid, search, and destroy.
Maybe at a major to go on a run. The talent is absolutely there. You're just kind of waiting for it to happen, but they need points. It's just a question of, is it too late? And where Minnesota RØKKR they're trying to avoid it, right? They're at 150. Florida's right behind them at 140. They're trying to keep that, trying to bump that up, so they're safe for champs.
Yeah, 100%. It's stage 4 of 5. Champs is on the mind if it wasn't already. Gunless, they'll pick up that bomb. Nice push through by Pristini, but can't stay up as he continues to chow. Puts us into a 2 versus 2 as Gunless will get that bomb planted. Is now Octane and Gunless. The superstars of this team will look to close it out, but Attach and Priesta in that very, very quickly as the 2v2 goes to RØKKR and they take round 1.
Yeah, really, honestly, kind of an iron round. I know they planted backside, but the fact is what Pristini just dies back kitchen. And they just kind of run at those 2 players. I thought that maybe, because Octane's not seeing anything on the flank or middle of the map, maybe they just double creek set up inside a ring. But Attach and Priesta, they just get some freebies. They just catch them, trying to rotate into Laundry. They hop on the defuse. They're waiting a little bit so that trophy loads on up for the going further in the rounds. But, yeah, just you have Attach who finds the first blood and able to wrap on back when his teammates get taken down. But into the 2v2, you think right after this kill on the Pristini, maybe Octane and Gunless just have a different setup. But Priesta, Attach, they take it right to him.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved if Pristini could have stayed alive a little bit longer there, but I think he was going to get killed by Priesta regardless. It's just, he gets a lot of information. You think that would allow for a little bit of a better maybe setup in the 2v2, but it's Attached with 3 kills. It's a round win for RØKKR. Now to offense they go as Priesta is trying to get some information across mid. He's receiving some bullets in kind.
And we know Raid a lot, especially defensively, around mid-map and about the information. Octane, he just gets it. He sees him shouldering. He will find the peak, but now Attach, he found 3 kills. Almost gets a kill. Instead, he ends up getting dropped. But MiDNiTE's working water stairs to force a 2v3. And he might be able to force a 2-on-2. But Classic with that little ledge slide, able to give himself the advantage.
Yep, that is tough to track. Now they lost the 2v2, but surely they can close out here in the 3-on-1. But Priesta has had some search and destroy heroics this year. Does he have another moment in him? Only positive, really. He's got bomb in hand, but they're quite aware of his position as the chow comes in. They're ready and waiting. Did Octane get it? Because I believe that was 3 for him in the round.
I mean, just look at this. He knows Stanley's shoulder times it perfectly. Does not want to get caught by someone pushing ring. Well, with those timings, he's not seeing anything. He's not seeing any pressure. Making sure his teammates are able to stay alive. Nicely done by Octane, and this is what they needed. They needed him to have a better search and destroy throughout this stage and able to fine-tune that round.
Oh, so he didn't get the final one, I guess. Okay. I thought he did, but granted, I think all 3 players were shooting at Priesta. As soon as he
on his screen, he did. He's got it. He's got the elim. That's all that matters.
Yeah, right. Well, Gunnell's trying to just play from the block. His bomb will now start to get in position for the plant. They look like they're going to have kind of a... Look at this pinch setup. You got 1 hitting Laundry, 1 hitting Art, and 2 ready to pounce from mid-steps. How do you pick this up if you're Surge? Because the collapse is about to come. The communication has got to be spot on.
The big thing is really on the Laundry player. Well, what is MiDNiTE going to be able to do? Because he's got multiple to deal with. And the fact that he's able to at least find 1, I think is huge for them because that just lets them know their front is going to be a little bit weaker. There's nobody in Laundry. And that's going to be green light for Minnesota RØKKR.
Just a lot of times once that first domino drops, on the defensive side, things fall apart. I thought there was an opening. Pristini almost turns that into a 1 versus 1. I can't quite take the second gunfight. But, you know, when you're in those setups and you're post-plant, Joe, you get it down. You're in a 4v4. Your first player drops. I mean, I imagine comms get a little hectic and everyone's head a bit on a swivel.
Yeah, but that's just a little careless there from Classic. I mean, his teammates are holding a close quarter setup. He cannot get caught. They have no information. There's nobody peeking on the back. They don't know if anyone is back there. They're not exactly sure. They know there's 1 on flank, but where is the rest of that push coming from? We've seen 2-2 split, so the fact that he gets caught, yeah, I mean, you don't want to see that happen. MiDNiTE, I mean, Yeah, they had multiple players waiting for him.
The fact he got one and all that information, yeah, proved to be the difference. Classic's kill nearly instantly traded. The same can be said now on the other side. It's to a 2v2 we go. Octane ready and waiting. Well, I don't know if that's poor timing or maybe camera a little bit there from Standy, but he will get dropped, and now it's Gunless in a 1 versus 2. His position now given up. He'll take the Chow and Priesta. Welcome to it. Puts them to 3-1. Is RØKKR taking over?
I mean, just very quick inside of ring once again, and what they're doing, but what they've done on both offenses, to deal with the players in the middle courtyard on Seattle Surge, they're sending MiDNiTE water steps, kind of in that lurk role that we've seen before, to find those players that are so focused on the cross to A. So I'm just curious to see what Seattle Surge, do they have someone play low water, or just sit water stairs next defense to deal with him?
Let's see how they start to adapt. I mean, that has been the biggest thing for our top teams when it comes to Surge. Control, hardpoint, whatever. The mid-game adaptation. 1 for 1 so far, but Bomb will be down water side. You've got, I was going to say, kind of a 3-on-1 as you start to push. But now the other 2 players going to track over from RØKKR. Does Attach find a good opening? Oh, he gets spotted from Tiki. That gunfight's a nightmare. The call comes into Pristini, and he's able to take down the kill. All on MiDNiTE. Now 1 versus 3. There's 1 pick. He's able to get out with his life. Bomb not planted yet.
That's kind of what Attach was hoping to do, was catch a player going for that bomb, but they played it very patiently. Well, Gunless, he's ready for the fight. Teammate was planning, but yeah, Attach is going down those water stairs as a player's crossing the Tiki, hoping that he can catch one on the objective. If he can catch one on the objective, maybe get away with his life. That makes that 2v2 very winnable.
Yeah, instead he's greeted by a very difficult gunfight and then a peek from the other side of it. Surge, bringing it back. And a hole to start off this game, too. Got to keep our eyes on Octane, too. I mean, you highlighted the stats, how good he was in Search last stage. And, I mean, his KD literally is almost cut in a third. When you think of where he's sitting now. And I know it's a small amount of maps, but you'd like to turn it around. And, my God, how big for him it would be to go up 2-0. We have water steps, push. Again, this time on the other side of it, they're flooding through, and Standy is taking bullets from just about everywhere. 1 sneaks on through. He's got 1 to deal with behind. The call-out's going to come in, or he reads it, snaps back. He is still up, and Gunless is just lurking right behind him. Gunless is going to get dropped. Everything falls apart.
How many times do we see that Tiki position, even in a round of control? If a 74U can get inside of there, there's so many different angles and timings that they can work with their slides in their mobility. And Standy does a great job just going back and forth, able to find that first blood. And there was the adjustment. MiDNiTE, what, a couple offenses in a row? He said, hey, they're sending nobody water. That site is wide open. Let's get a quick plant. Let's get into it. Standy able to find that first blood.
Well, and you kind of said you were really hoping that MiDNiTE would be able to help them a bit in Search and Destroy. Well, there's a play he's capable of. He gets 3 in the round. He's 7-5 now in the game, and yeah, I mean, accuracy could be that guy too, but, you know, he had a stretch where he was struggling. They opt to go for the change, and now MiDNiTE's got to leave his mark in every mode, but Search maybe where he's got the most potential.
This Seattle a little different. We don't usually see this in offense. Kitchen's wide open. Nobody in the middle of the map. Seattle's going to take that spot. Now, what are they going to do with it in Classic? Again, first blooded. That's probably the 3rd or 4th time, and that just reminds me when we were watching Seattle on this map, what was it, Pristini? It just felt like he was never alive. And they continuously go down. And advantage. Pristini, some windies there, but he's able to regain both him and Attach.
Oh, when you got players like Pristini and Classic on the same team, and yeah, maybe it's who's going to get to the first gunfight first? Like, they're both going to be sending it, obviously. And MiDNiTE, 3 in the last round, 3 in this one. The final dagger in. 5th on the board. Lovely display of talent there from Major.
He's just a lone player. He's the island player. He's hoping to get 1. But it feels like this blue van, we've seen Celium in this spot time and time again. It can be so difficult to deal with them, and he catches the timings. But what you were saying with Pristini and Classic, that's fine that they're both playing faster. Who's finding the one-on-ones? I would just like to see them do it together a little more often and find those trades.
Well, Who do you think of when you think of that? Maybe like a Ultra on this map? When you saw them kind of running around with his Bance and Kleenex, whoever it was, that like kind of two-headed monster that would take over the map? Maybe you'd like to see that a little bit more. Major Manning is just on a tear. That's 7 in a row. That streak's on end. I'm getting planted. What a map. Well, just a couple of rounds. It feels like he's erupted. Finally, he will go down. One of the best ARs in the game. It's Octane that hits the shots. Now it's all going to be on Priesta. 1v3. Down to a 1 versus 2. They're hunting him down. Pristini's close. Can't take it. One-on-one. He checks it. Gets the info he needs. Oh, he almost caught. Down to 41 HP. But Priesta playing it beautifully. No time. Kill won't even matter, but he gets it for the cherry on top. A brilliant round from Major, followed up by a beautiful one from Priesta to close this out.
I mean, this second challenge just has to be together. There was some over challenge there from the RØKKR, right? They were in a 4-on-3. Major Maniac gets gunned, but Priesta, he knows the time, he knows the situation. You see him shouldering lower, playing his life, getting the information. But who is it? It's Pristini who flies. He leaves Octane to watch top. Pristini, he loses that gunfight. Well, Seattle Surge, they continue to struggle in 2, 3, and 5 once again.
Well, what were the two guys you wanted to see for RØKKR kind of stepping up for the search? I think you mentioned Major Maniac. You mentioned Priesta's struggles as of late in the mode. You get 7 and 2 out of Priesta. Major Maniac, a 7 spree, ends at 11 and 6. I mean, they combined for what, like 18? Together 27 kills. Like, it is a magical map from those two, and I think probably as a RØKKR fan, amazing to see.
Well, they clutched 2 1v3, so I mean, pretty much, right? As Priesta's able to find that, you had Major Maniac with the triple kill right before it. But yeah, I mean, 0-4 in stage 4. Now you go to at least you're going to a map of control where you've won, but they have not won a control in a very long time.
Yeah, you're just battling against all these streaks. Like, it's the 0-4 in Surge, it's the 0-9 in Control, it's the 0-9 their last 9 matches. Like, they need something positive, some kind of momentum just to maybe change that mindset a bit. But let's check out our U.S. Army tactical play. It's going to be from round 7. I think it's going to be the bit of brilliance from Major Maniac. As you said, from the blue van, we've seen a lot of players make some fantastic plays there, but Major Maniac just another in a long list to get that done. But it was great to see the confidence out of him in moments. It was great to see it from Priesta as well. But let's check out the U.S. Army tactical play now. We'll take a look at it one more time.
Yeah, I mean, you see his position right now, right over towards Laundry. I mean, they took Kitchen away, but Classy, he does get first blooded, and now it's just which way are they going to go? Attach gets in as he goes towards a wide flank. Pristini's able to win that gunfight. And now it's just an information game. Where are they going to go from the middle of the map? Major Maniac is the one player at A. He is all by himself. His teammates are in spawn and, well, in the offensive spawn. And the fact that he gets 1, job done. 2, even better. But the triple, that is just spectacular.
Fantastic stuff for Major Maniac, and he's fired up to close out that search and destroy. RØKKR even us up at 1 apiece. We'll be back with the control.
Let's freaking go, baby. You got the Major Maniac Priesta duo back in Search and Destroy. Hey, maybe we're a Search and Destroy team again. We've been trying to be a hardpoint team lately, and Search has been lacking, and now we're flipping it on the head this time. I love to see that, though. A 6 and 2 raid Search and Destroy win was massive. That play that Major Maniac got on A there, where he got the 3-piece, I think I said to you while it was happening, it's like, man, if he gets all 3, I'm gonna freak out. And then obviously I got to freak out. He had no business winning that 3rd gunfight, but he did. What a beast! Absolute Search and Destroy animal, that map. So yeah, what did you notice from the rest of the plays? Obviously we had that one that stuck out, but what did you notice about raid S&D there?
Yeah, last one was super clutch too with Priesta in that 1v3. He did have the advantage that bomb was down, so he knew that he could just play the clock, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to get the first kill on gunless as it looked like he was going for the defuse, and then when he went back to peek, he ran away, saw Priesta pushed him. I think Pristini might have been a little bit overly aggressive there. I think he had Octane behind him, so Octane could have watched up top, and Pristini could have just held that initial head glitch right there. And had he been on that head glitch, he would have got the kill on Priesta, and that would have gave Octane the possibility to defuse. But as soon as Pristini ran out and pushed super aggressive and he was able to get that kill, then he knew it was a 1v1. He peeked bomb, knew that nobody was on bomb, so just went back to the back of apartments, just played clock, and Octane had to push him. He didn't have a choice. So really nice heads up awareness, super smart play, just to play the clock, wait until somebody goes to defuse, get the kill, and then round out the round. I thought overall, I think that was one of the more impressive SNDs that we've seen, certainly since Mike has come back on board, but over the last stage or two also. It's just super clean. They played really well.
Yeah, every S&D we've played in the last couple months has felt like an absolute sweat fest, a grind, and to just, come out, win 6-2 pretty easily there on raid. I mean, I know it's Seattle Surge. I don't think they're, uber good at search and destroy, but hey, we've been struggling lately, so it feels good to come out and get a quick and fast win there on hardpoint. So now we are going to Garrison Control, which, I mean, we went over this before, but our record on that map, 3-3, Seattle's record, 3-7. I'd love to see, I mean, I know we pointed out earlier in the pre-show, but I would just love to see the pace pushed here in this control. Let's take the absolute, the most momentum possible. I mean, look at the stats on the screen. Wow. Control is an absolute struggle for Seattle Surge. They're on currently a 9-game losing streak.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, listen, you can't say we've won it until we've won it. But it's looking like we're comfortable, right? If we were to go down 0-2, I still think we'd be going, comfortably into this control. But it was so big for us to win that search just now.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it's kind of crazy to even see stats like these. But on the year, Seattle is 3-18 in control. They've only won 3 times. And those 3 wins have come on Garrison. So maybe if you're looking for
no.
if you're looking for a little bit of doubt, I mean, maybe that's where it would come from. But the last couple times that we have played Garrison Control, it's basically just been Priesta, especially Standy attached, just controlling the middle of the map. It doesn't really even matter if it's on offense or defense. It's just the round's going to start. You get to the middle of the map, you get a team wipe, and then if you're on defense, you push forward and you just set up the spawn trap. If you're on offense, you push forward and you just try to get time on either of the points. But this is where I really feel like if you're thinking about a lot of the significant plays that Standy has had since he's come aboard, it seems like this is a map and mode where he's made a ton of difference. Just the aggression that he plays with and the streaks that he's been able to go on in the middle of the map. I really do feel like it's taken this map from one that you're probably not all that excited to play to where, it's an expansion of the map pool, and one that I think that they're playing really well on at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm excited to see this one. I want to see the pace push. I want to see the guys fly high after they get some momentum. I mean, I know maybe you don't want to be a momentum-based team, right? Because then when you're down in the count, you're feeling your back's against the wall and the momentum's working against you. But I would love to see this team just start to get hot. A solid map 2 win right there. Let's go into map 3 and take freaking over, man. And make sure that my prediction, as predicted on the rotation, is correct. I think we all did Kingdom predict 3-1 as well? Did we all predict 3-1?
I don't know. In the spreadsheet, the only one that's in there is my 3-1. So I don't know what y'all said, but we'll see.
I remember I said 3-1. I did think that we were going to lose the search. Yeah, check the tape. I did get rigged extra points, but no big deal. But yeah, I really did think we were going to be able to win the hard point. We've been looking good on that. But hey, sometimes your expectations get flipped. But in all reality, we are kind of, at least in the series count right now, where we thought that we would be. So I'm not sure what the deal is with the CDL stream. They're taking a little bit to actually go into the next map. So there might be some sort of issue. They're just kind of delaying. But hey, that's just more time with me and IKON, which I know you guys, that's why you're here, right? Right? Yeah, we'll see about that. But guys, what do you guys think? In the chat, Control, seeing that Seattle is just not very good at the mode. No offense. They're just statistically not there right now. Do you think this is one where, do you let even the momentum just carry you through it? Do you think that, could we get another? I think the last time, it's probably not the last time we played it, but we've definitely gotten a 3-0 on Garrison Control before. So that's got to feel good.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if it's good to bring this up or bad to bring it up, but the last time we played Garrison Control against Toronto, that's where we came out and we were super hot. We went up 2-0. We did so well in those first 2 rounds that we were able to get back-to-back defenses to close that out. And we ended up losing those back-to-back defenses, but still going up 2-0 on a map like Garrison to a team like Toronto, it's impressive in and of itself. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's also, if you think back to map 1, had it not been that fluke spawn from Octane, even with the slow start throughout the first and second set of rotations on Moscow, that's also a map that we probably end up winning. So if you're talking about, or if you're thinking about confidence right now in the moment, just seems like we ended the hard point, should have ended up winning that map 1, got a fluke spawn, we didn't end up winning, and then in that S&D, really everything kind of went our way. And again, being at Seattle is the worst control, and we're playing pretty good on Garrison, just have quite a bit of confidence right now going into map 3.
I feel it, and thank you for bringing up that memory. I repressed the 2-0 lead on Toronto Garrison Control. No, I mean, that's kind of what Control is, though, right? Like, you can go up 2-0 in Control, and then you could even be ahead in the 3rd round where you're about to win. But then if, you have a bad, series of events, you get squad wiped, you get wiped off spawn again, that's a round win that you weren't really anticipating. So I'll be interested to see, like, do we have any moments like that where we just have our backs against the wall, we have to clutch up, or are we just going to come out and just command respect on the map? That's what I'm hoping happens, baby. Chat's got some mixed reviews. They're saying it ain't happening. And Man's World, sorry for saying your name wrong, says Surge will win Control. I wonder what he's basing that off of, because maybe just guessing. Maybe he's like, hey, just throwing it out there. I think we'll be able to take this one, but it's still, the series isn't over yet. It's only 1-1. You haven't won until you've won, and we both know. We talk about, like, Surge. They're towards the bottom half of the league. They're ranked last, right? So, but they're better than their record. I still believe that. I've maintained it all year. And this is like a pretty big win here if RØKKR can get it to really put themselves in a really good spot going into Major Stage 4 on land. So anyway, Garrison Control is about to start up. We'll be back right after the map. Enjoy, and we'll be in the chat.
At end of the Control, we get ready to go. Surge looking to brush off this big losing streak they have in the mode. RØKKR looking to keep them there.
Yeah, that's really it for me. It's kind of, it's going to sound bad, but don't give them a positive to work off of.
100%.
Get them that momentum, get them feeling happy, just smiling, just kind of keep them in that spot. They're going to start out on defense. Well, it's the SMGs that are going to open up the round. This is RØKKR.
Oh, what is it? Give them an inch, they'll take a mile type thing? Like, just don't give anything to them. Like, don't give them something positive to work off of. Obviously, Surge are struggling. Don't give them an opening here. That's going to put you right into that conversation if they go into a 1-2 start if you're RØKKR. Come in here and lock it down where they've been struggling. It's a nice start from Standy as he's going to kick off things 3-0. Going to shut it down here defensively. Is the shots from Attach able to take down 3 as they come flying at him. 5-1 start, 3 in a row, and an opening to try to apply some pressure, but the bullets start coming in immediately.
It's just right from the start, right off the break when they find 3 kills. You just have not been able to get out of this position. It was Attached then with 3. Now it's Standy with a couple of more. It's the SMGs who have 10 in the round. This is the last push for Seattle Surge to at least try to contest. But again, there's a Minnesota RØKKR submachine gun player that's going to say, nah, this round's done.
Well, you said don't give them an opening, don't give them a ray of hope. They don't in that first round. It is dominant from the get-go. You were battling out of spawn for almost the entire round. And one of the faster rounds you're going to see here on Garrison Control. And yeah, Standy and Attach, just dominating.
Hey, when you can stay alive here at Caution around these stairs, when you can stay alive in dark, this is the choke points that they had to come through. This is your advantage on Garrison when you can get to these positions. Besides that, what? You have your crease catwalk, a lot of long angles from these spawns. That's where the ARs can really open things up and allow you to get to those spots. But once you're in those spots, that's when your playmaking ability has to come alive, and it did right there.
Well, some teams have been so much better at getting out of that, right? Like when you lose that opening break, you get pinned, but you get out of it in a wave or two. What's the difference there? Where teams are able to find success?
I mean, probably trading. You have to be able to trade. You can't go 2-3 dead with nothing, or you're kind of back to square one.
Yeah, that's what it was, kind of over and over again, right? Let's see if Surge can get a little bit of a better start on the defense. And, well, Gunless certainly wants to. I think that's 3 in a row for Gunless. Only a couple kills through the first round, but there wasn't much success to find. As the beams stay on point for Gunless, keeps them in a good spot. You still got pushed up mid-map as Classic, who's trying to make the plays you just saw Attach and Standy do. And now RØKKR find themselves in a similar spot. Just trying to find an opening, put on the back foot early. Let's see if they can do what Surge weren't capable of.
They've always had one more player to not allow a player like Classic to get pushed up or Pristini to get pushed up. And there's those trades. This time it's attached. He's staying alive. So now you have that 3 dead scenario. Now it is 4 dead. Those trades come in. And then when you need the individual plays, you get one out of it. Yeah, there's always one more player from RØKKR to not allow Seattle to get to the spots where they want to really put them in that trap, and now they're on the B.
That's really the difference, right? Like, never that true 4 down where the entire map is given up. Are those shots from Standy? Those shots again from Standy. That'll seal the deal. Triple positive out of the gate. 12 and 4 now on 3 in a row as he transitions over. Could this be clean? He'll keep it going. Another one. Another one. Just hitting from both sides of the map. And onto the point they go quickly. Surge in trouble.
But you had a 3-stack, but with that kill from Octane, everything's going to slow down. Attach has to get off. So it looks like they're going to be able to retain control. Andy, now you're a little bit of step ahead, so just back on down. But because he shows himself, Classy just takes it right to him. I like that from Classy to try to retain map control. Again, there's always a trade, it seems, for RØKKR. Not completely give up this position.
Well, behind that kill at mid-map, with the rest of Surge basically coming off a spawn, it's the Q to fly for control, but Octane going to catch one on the cross. AR is hit. Octane and Gunless doing their best in defense. Make sure they can't make that next step out of green onto the point, but Major Maniac does get across, wins a gunfight, but who is it? It's Gunless that picks up 1. Major Maniac is still here. He's on 3 in a row. He's into the point. His teammates win a fight outside of green. And now it's just to support the troops, trying to get in position to help. And they get there.
That was such a good play by Major Maniac to take both gunfights. He has this 74U. He's able to switch to it. Now he's just playing his life, but it's Octane again. He's just trying to hold on, but there's only 3 lives remaining. And Standy's going on a long route. Trying to take his time to through that sound cue. So he might. Well, now they definitely know he's there. 4 on 3. Time to work with. Trophies are down, though, so nades aren't going to be effective in that spot. But can they find Pristini? If they're able to take him down, that opens up the collapse elsewhere.
They don't. He's tucked away in a corner, and he gets out with his life. 3 versus 3. Trophy down, but the shot from the cross will take him out. Numbers, once again, over to RØKKR with 20 seconds on the clock. Classic wins it. He stays up. Major Maniac there to hit the shots, though, and the final player will drop RØKKR with that 1-player advantage, able to close it out and go up 2-0 in this game 3.
They take their time, right? Octane's able to reel it on back, but Standy goes on the long route. They realize they have the life advantage. Major Maniac with a key individual play to really make things messy. Well, Standy, from that transition, just so good throughout that round. It makes it close. They make it close. The number's too much for Minnesota RØKKR.
Just to give you an idea, how important the map 3 can be. The last time Seattle won a control was also the last time they won a match, Joe. This is versus Florida back on April 8th. So we're talking 2 months ago.
Well, yeah, it's a long time. And I mean, what's surprising too, and maybe it's just something they switched off of, but I remember Gunless was one of the first players to run that third sub, that third 74U. He hasn't had it out throughout these first 2 rounds. Sticking with the 2 Krigs.
They're going to have numbers here just for a moment. They look to get onto A. Nobody has crossed towards the generator yet. It's just been Gunless and Octane just locking it down with the Krigs. Making it so hard on the cross for RØKKR. But now the flurry of gunfights is going to go forward. We'll see who's last standing. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but Classic, he stays up just trying to finesse against everything. Nade here, nade there. Nades seem to be going everywhere. But due to the finesse from Classic, it opens Octane up for 2. They're able to get that A point and put themselves in a good spot to get a round victory.
It's a good spot, but it's... And they keep map control, because there's always the defensive spawn trap that we saw in round 1 that they could get into, but they have a 6 life advantage. Octane's middle of the map, and he is still having himself a map on another 5 spree. He's up to 20 and 11. Right off the break, they're able to capture A. Now over to B. Classic is still alive. They're forcing Minnesota to have to go. And, well, when you force him to have to go, you find 3 easy kills.
Here we go. The brink of a round win, but coming in from behind it will be Priesta. Not going to get there, gets a kill, but Surge get around on the board. Maybe the A first point, the recipe for success. But really, once you got Octane and Gunless to this plat, I mean, they were just lining them up, and then you saw what you see, what feels like for a decade. Classic finessing in front, Octane putting in shots over the top. They get that first point, and then, I mean, what, they had like a 5 life advantage, 2+ minutes to work with for the second zone. Nicely done there by Surge.
Yeah, much needed. They needed that offensive round win. Now put a little bit more pressure on RØKKR to do it again. If Seattle Surge can maybe send this to around 5. Take a look at the scoreboard. I mean, you have Octane on one side, Stenny on the other, but really struggling right now. If he can get something going.
Right on the point go RØKKR. Christini, who you called out, needs to really pick it up. We'll be playing from top green. He's worried about somebody pushing through. It was attached. Classic able to pick that up. Now the focus can go back to the other side. I don't know if he didn't spot him at first. It looked a little bit awkward, but he will drop. His teammate does next to him as well. Classic, though. Between, what, the second half of the last round and really kicking off this one, started to find a rhythm.
Well, that's huge because RØKKR, they sent some resources over towards A. They're not done with B quite yet because they had some positioning on that radar. So B is still up for grabs, and now you lose map control, and you're in a position where you lose, I mean, even potential ticks on the point, on the objective to at least have defense for round 5.
The year of the mindset, just like, close that one out first, worry about the second later. Don't get too cute with it.
Yeah, or maybe they're just on the mindset of, there was an opening, we went for it, we'll just go back to B, because they're back.
Yep, I mean, a little easier to cap, that's for sure. And yeah, it looks like they've regained well. Still a ton of time here. A trade effective from RØKKR. And there's the first zone, so they handle the balancing act. They get back over. Now let's keep an eye on this transition over. Gunless set up deep, able to hit the shots. We'll stagger this push across mid-map for at least a moment. Major Maniac able to win a big one-on-one top green, though. An opening for his team to move forward. A team kill in from attached, but he does take down one of the opposition as well. Here they go.
That early position. They hit someone out onto that satellite. That's going to be Priesta this time. Got the Gray able to find some shots, but they're just trading. And trades are all good for them because they have a life advantage. But it's a nice play by Classic and Octane. That duo working in tandem. Gives them that position back. And this next set of kills, this might decide the round. Look at that life count. If this gets messy for RØKKR, they'll be put in a tough spot.
Well, it's the subs finding the kills. And Octane looking over once again. Pristini just trying to stay up. Not the best map, but he can have an influence here. He will get caught as he soars forward, though. Now down to 50 seconds on the clock. Lives just about even here as well. Now Priesta and company starting to push on forward. What kind of timing does Priest find? He might get right in between the defense. He does. He had the read back pocket, but didn't spot Gunless. Standy almost gets the trade, but not a fun one. Major Maniac will hit the shots. Under 30 to go now. 1 life advantage for RØKKR.
I mean, it's the same thing we saw last offense, right? 1 life advantage is the difference maker. Standy is going for it. He's trying to gun Gunless, and he does. Are they going to spawn and kill him again? There's not enough time to do so, so they have to go. Octane's able to find Standy, so it's a 3v3 on the point. Pristini stays alive. Classic with another one. It looks like the last player that is here going to be taken care of. In Seattle Surge, it feels like they're going to send us to a round 5.
Looks like they've held on. Nobody gets there in time. Surge, the last second defense clutch up. Beautiful efficiency with the trades. Once doing Standy Gunless in the back. I thought that was the opening. Like, the fact he won that gunfight, period, was ludicrous. But the players on the point, they're able to hold on.
Well, I think they're just open for 10 more seconds in that scenario, because what they would end up doing is basically trapping Gunless again.
Yeah.
They would have trapped him again. I think it would have been a 5v3, and they would have had the same scenario of a man advantage into that push. But there wasn't that time. I think they recognized it, that they had to go. The time on the side of Seattle Surge.
The Control losing streak can come to an end. Surge can go big in this round 5. They're going to have offense to go. Offense they found success in was an A capture first. These opening moments, so important. Because no one's even been able to find a kill. Finally, it's going to be Classic that gets the opener. Multiple players transitioning on defense towards this A site. You really have one lurking underground on the other side. That's going to be Standy. You've got a 2-2 split on offense. Surger taking the fight at both spots. Standy, though, he goes underground. He pops up and gets both kills. So he wins it at B. The rest of his teammates are on A, and back to step 1 goes Surge.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle was trying to do what they did in their last offensive round, which is get A first. And you can see that RØKKR, they were sending multiple players to that position time and time again. And because of that, they send 2 to B to try to get it done, but Standy makes the play. And with that play, attach the ball that up, you have 4 dead and you are trapped. All the map positioning again, it's looking like round number 1, and that is not good for Seattle Surge.
Yeah, no, it's all Standy. I mean, you're thinking there if you're Surge, right? Like, even if we die at A, we've distracted enough or taken enough resources off B, then we're going to get a cap. Standy can't get both kills. It just can't happen. Now you've got, what, just around 15 seconds to go. There's 2 people forward in Pristini and Gunless. Both are going to fall. In the blender goes Surge. Their chances of ending the streak go to these final 5 seconds. Nobody close enough to the point. The defense too strong from RØKKR. They take the round 5. They go up 2-1 in the series. And the Control losses continue to pile up for Surge.
And it's these positions, again, where Minnesota RØKKR on offense, they were at least able to get out. They never could. It was 2-3 kills in a row every single time, whether it was at caution, whether it was around vent room. Seattle Surge can't allow that to happen to get yourself trapped, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to watch on the minimap. I mean, I know, like, on the POV, we were watching the push develop at A, but I was just staring at, you know, kind of the 2v1 on the other side. And just looking, I was watching Standy just kind of crawl. You saw him moving underground. And I was just thinking, like, how that goes might decide it. And sure enough, Standy gets both. Yeah, once they're in that, whatever you want to call it, that trap or that just really tough position to break out of spawn when the defense has the setup, they just never really did it once. Once they were pinned, they were pinned.
I mean, RØKKR never gave up. Got a tool, worked towards caution by the platform, never gave up vent room. Major Maniac had a great play towards the catwalk, but looking at the stats, I mean, RØKKR side, it's Standy who leads the way. You get a much better game out of Priesta. On the other side, Octane almost 5,500 damage, 31 and 21, but Pristini 12 and 30. Not even 3,000 damage from him. We'll see if he can, get things going here in map 4.
Yeah, maybe you feel good you pushed it that far considering the map that Pristini had, but it's just signs of frustration from the Surge side. It's so close, but not quite enough to end that streak. The Control woes continue, and they bounce back in the hard point. They were able to take map 1.
it's somewhat predictable fashion, but also not. Still, it wasn't an easy win to say the least. We did go up 2-0. Remember like how you brought up we did against Toronto, and then we ended up taking the L pretty hard there. Just a series of unfortunate events, but there we do go up 2-0. Seattle punches back, and then I don't even remember what happened in the round 5. It was so fast. Break it down for me a little bit, Icon. What did we do right in that map, and what did we do wrong, or maybe why? How did they get two round wins on us?
So I will say it did end up going to round 5, but I think it was pretty predictable. I'll say that. I think in the one offensive round that Seattle won, I think that they took us by surprise. They were able to push towards A and open up A. And if you're able to capture that point first, then it makes getting B pretty easy because it's pretty 50-50. Basically, you win one team gun battle after you have A, then you're on the B point and you're able to just spawn kill as the defense comes out of spawn. So I think that offensive round, coupled with how easy defense is to win, that gives you 2 rounds right there. But the very first round and the very last round is far more indicative of how the map ended up going overall. Map 1, map 5 was basically just standy and attach, and MiDNiTE played really well too, just getting control of mid-map once they get a team wipe, pushing forward, applying the pressure, just like we said before the map started. But really, I think even though this did go map 5, I think it was still a pretty easy victory overall, even though it seemed not quite that way.
Yeah, definitely when I saw that, we were able to, objectively do more and secure defense for round 5 there. Felt much better once I saw that. And yeah, from there, just, I don't know, the guys turned it on. You'd love to see that, though. If the other team's winning 2 rounds in a row and you start to tilt or things just get a little bit out of control, we were able to bounce back and just make sure we finished strong there. So a little dicey. I do genuinely feel for Seattle. I do think they are better than a last place team. They get so close in a lot of these matches, but can't seem to finish them out. And I do feel bad, but I definitely don't feel bad enough to want that to change today, right now. So, hey, let's keep up with the status quo here. We're going into map number 4, which is going to be Checkmate on Hardpoint. No offense to that map, but yikes, I dislike Checkmate Hardpoint. I know it's so dicey, and I think our record's not very good. And our record is 4-3. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. It's 2-5. RØKKR's 2-5 on Hardpoint Checkmate, and then Seattle is also 2-5. So who knows, man? I just hope we come out hotter in the Hardpoint this map than that map 1, because that map 1 Hardpoint was. Yeah, you don't want to see that happen again. I don't want to risk it and go map 5 versus Surge. Let's get it done here, boys. Let's make my prediction come true. Same with Icons. 3-1, please. Thank you. I really hope we can level it up. I will say, Gunless and even Octane at different points in this series have really played really well. I think it's also a testament to Priesta, and MiDNiTE to kind of fire back at those guys, because they are probably one of the nastiest AR duos in the league, in my opinion. So, hey, we will see. Checkmate Hardpoint chat. Let us know your predictions. We're gonna win this one. Will it be close? Will it be a blowout? Let me know your thoughts. But we're going to kick it over to the CDL broadcast now. We will be back right after this.
Well, I think especially, too, for Brissini. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on him, but we saw in Stage 2 when they won a couple of games and they were competing with some of our better teams, he was just popping off. I mean, he was probably their best player at the point. He put so much pressure on the map, so that's why we always look at him. But Octane coming off a really good Game 3. You keep that up in this Game 4 Checkmate.
Well, off the rip we go. Standy had some brilliant moments in that last map. I'm going to attach. We'll look to shut down everything we were talking about, slow down that SMG duo, but Classic will find the opener inside of the plane. Some hard point time to Seattle early. Obviously, they're going to focus on trying to get the flip, but you can't flip. At least get whatever time you can here through first.
And that was a great start for the SMG duo. Speaking of that, Pristini, he done Standy. Classic with the follow-up. There's that sort of two-man push that we want to see. as you said, just eating up that early time with these trades. It's a nice nade, but Standy, he just sticks through it. He just keeps the pre-aim up, and that pre-aim turns into a multi-kill for him. Map control for Minnesota RØKKR.
Yeah, you can see how deep 2 and 4 are playing. Attach and Priesthood. They was making sure no one leaked through kind of top or bottom side of the map. Now with 5 seconds left, they can really start to transition over to hold second. But Surge, you put up 30 points there on first. So regardless of how this second hard point goes, at least you found a healthy amount of time to make sure this isn't like a lopsided start. If you can get a break here, though, that'd be even better.
They have some map control to work with. The players inside of playing Classic was just waiting patiently. But off of spawn comes Priesta. Able to take down 3. That'll just force them to have to hit through the front. Well, Major Maniac, he's going to be ready for this. At least I thought he was going to be, but Octane, he is soaring.
Oh, dude, after that, when they got the kill off the player in the point, and Octane, whatever Batman type play that was, I thought he might get the break, but there's still enough numbers here from RØKKR to hold on to the hard point. And they'll go up 15 behind that. Looks like the scrap time going to be able to go the way of Surge. They'll look to get set up for our next hard point, which pops under the plan. Wrapping all the way back deep was Classic, just to make sure they got a nice spawn to get set up, and they'll look to layer the map now. It'll be Classic inside plane, ready to deal with this push as it gets developed.
Nobody on the time quite yet. You have 2 players towards the top. Top of that H3, that's me, Major Maniac and Indy trying to get pushed up. They've done that, but Octane, he goes on the flank, and he's just challenging everything and anything. He's on point right now, up to 8-5. Trying to keep his team in the match, while trying to keep his team control of this hill. But not a lot of time earned by Surge with that early setup. Minnesota RØKKR, they're going to get on it. Again, you have Major Maniac working the top side of the mini-map.
Well, it's just about a tie game right now. Surge working hard to get us to a 5th and final map. Octane nearly double positive. The comms have got to be in a good spot if they're going to take this map forward. Let's go to an Astro listen-in with Seattle Surge.
They're over by point. They're over by point. Yo, Dylan's going left, low left wing, right there, yeah. There you go. Trying to rotate over here.
Jumped up A wing, jumped up A wing, jumped up A wing.
In the middle point.
I'm getting down time. I'm down time.
I have a trophy on you.
Yo,
Here,
give me a second.
Wait in.
Got one.
Hard flash.
Got 2.
Nice,
Dylan's on me playing.
Yeah, Stay alive.
Yo, I'm their side looking.
A wing, push me. Good job,
No, 2 top lane, 2 up here. Yeah, one here, Kevin. One here,
Ivor up here. Ivor middle.
I'm dead. 2 on time, 2 on time.
Their side. Hold 25 seconds. They're gonna push fast. We're gonna spawn out.
Yeah.
Alright, put.
Major front wood.
This is huge. They're rushing quite the roll.
Free kill and ult, Standy.
Major
new, pressing on 6.
I'm going up. Yo, under plane here. He's on pocket. Dylan.
Yeah, he hasn't crossed green yet.
It's on time.
Major wood. One shot, free kill. He's front wood now. Front wood.
Good shit, spawn in the back.
Major's 100% alive on there. They're on a plane.
One under plane. Let's see what's on. Two top plane. One shot half wall, guys. There's 2 top plane as well.
Left wing.
Yeah, they're heading left. I think I have to left.
That's the guy half wall.
Top plane.
Top plane right now. Top plane.
Pillar pressing.
Stuck on top plane. He's stuck top plane.
Nice. Top plane. They're all
still
front now. All I can get time.
Front wood if he wings. 3 front.
I got a trophy on you. I got one front. I got 2 front hill. He's
half wall flank.
Yeah,
he pushed through.
That's it.
Push you back range. Back range. One on you.
Garage. Free kill garage.
Alright, exit dead.
I'm pulling now.
I
don't see him.
It's Preston.
Got me on time.
Weak on time.
Alright, 20 seconds here. Let's try to push it this time. We have to hold them off. They're gonna kill us.
Our top exit. Pillar in our top exit.
I'm going right. There's 2 literally push up in their spawn right now.
I got him weak exit.
Slow the game down. Get some.
I don't see the guy right.
Weak exit.
Nade pillar. Not top pillar.
Yeah, top pillar. Under half wall. He's under half.
Joe, it felt like the comms were pretty spot on. Like, they get the break, they do the hard part, but then that next wave of kills, once they got on, just weren't there.
It was like you had these moments of, all right, we're doing this, to like moments of frustration because I mean, there was a couple of plays. You know, at that 4th hill, you had they get the kills and then Octane gets on the point, all die. Then towards the 5th hill, they have the spawns, but it's Major Maniac, then it's Priesta. They just continuously fight from the front, and Seattle's like, we have to be getting time, but we aren't. This situation kind of sucks.
It's like, it almost felt, I know this is silly, but like from watching from their POV a couple times, it almost felt like they were playing against 5. Like it felt like there was always extra guy, like from the POV we were watching. Like it just never seemed that clean.
They weren't trading, right? Like it just felt like it's kind of what we saw in the control. Like they had some positions, but hey, they brought it back though. They found some time here at this first hill, and they break the cycle. Last time through, not able to do so, but Gunless is on a 7 spree.
Well, there's the artillery. Not always the easiest to get efficiency out of streaks on this map, but see what Gunless can do. He's going to call it in immediately. A ping and call out to his teammates as well. Does it lead to an opening? Gunless is going to keep getting kills off of it. I mean, his streak doesn't hit, but his Krieg sure does. He's now on 9 in a row, approaching a double-digit streak.
Moments like this, like, can they capitalize on this situation? They need to be able to find these 30 seconds. They get something positive going. Gunless able to find the kills. A big moment for Seattle Surge. A chance here to take the lead.
11 in a row now for Gunless as he is taking over the map, down 10. You don't see many streaks like this in the Pro League. How far can he push it as he soaks up the remaining time with just 10 seconds left? His teammates will try to fan out across the map. But it'll be RØKKR looking to answer back in third. As Gunless is just trying to put damage into anybody, but now we'll stick with him. I mean, he's on such a big streak, you kind of have to. I just want to know how high can he push this as he's just clearing all his angles as he looks to push up the map. And look at the patience here from Attach. The peak finally comes in. The timing couldn't be worse for Gunless. That streak will come to an end.
Well, what does that turn into? That turns into Attach finding a second kill and them now having map control. You do have Octane and Pristini, though. They're going to spawn top left. RØKKR, they're not going to be ready for this. Going to turn the tides for Seattle Surge. But, I mean, even with that streak, the fact you lost P5 spawns, you just lost a big spawn there at P2, you're only down 5 seconds for RØKKR. They have to be feeling that they're in a pretty good position.
Oh, 100%. They can do this. They can get us to a final map, and maybe it'll be Gunless that gets us there. The full display of his talent. You've been seeing it in this map 4. As the lead builds, now up to over 20 points. But an important sequence now when you talk about the 4th and 5th point. This is where things kind of fell apart in a way. Like, you had your good moments, but then you had your blunders. Can you tighten it up a bit if you're Surge?
Well, that's another one. They have 3 dead. There's only 1 more alive on the point. They're not able to find him. So this just turns into RØKKR still having the left side of the minimap and them still having control of the hill. There's just these moments where you think they're going to make it a little bit cleaner, and then they don't. But now they just respond with 3 kills of their own. They're trying to get pushed forward. RØKKR trying to hold on to those spawns.
Yeah, it was just headshot, headshot, headshot. The flurry as RØKKR got wiped off the map. So some nice time, but the spawns, at least when you talk about next, still in control of RØKKR. Sandy coming in and popping off with the pistol. That'll be 3 down for Surge. Over to next. Just like last time through, it'll already be Major Maniac in position. You saw wild Gunless spray. Standy trying to mimic that, now on 4 in a row.
Well, that's just huge when those kills come in, because look at Seattle Surge's position. Major Maniac, he pushed all the way up when he rotated early. He was on the hill. He made things messy. You don't even have plane control right now if you are Seattle Surge. This is the strength of having P5 with the spawns, but hey, what can get you out of this situation? A streak. At least make things messy. Put them in positions for your teammates to find the kills and find the time. That's exactly what that cruise missile does.
Well, allows Gunless to get all the way to the back, but he's still hunting one. Unfortunately for him, Standy repositions. This whole time he's been searching for it. 2 of his teammates will fall. Classic obviously still in position to make a play, but there's a tack check towards the back. He'll get hit. He's able to stay up third. He finds a kill as well. 3 drop now for RØKKR. And there's the spawn out with just around 15 seconds left. But you'll take any time you can get right now if you're Surge, who are inching closer to victory. Now, one of those maps, like usually when it goes the distance show, it gets decided between 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, you get the spawn out, but it's at the wrong time. It's with 15 seconds left. And I think RØKKR are okay. They're going to be like, all right, we got some early time off that hill. We survived the streak, and we're still in this. It's a tie game, and they're about to have the lead with this P1 control.
Yeah, that spawn out 20 seconds earlier would have been great, but
Would have been fantastic.
you only get 10 or so points, and I said I was like, you'll take any points you can get, which I agree with, but you're in a tough spot now to go ahead and clutch up just based on where both teams are spawning. And it's just been all purple in the kill feed. It has been all RØKKR over this last sequence.
Okay, you do have Octane who spawned top right, but the fact is they have to get him off P1. So Octane's now in a position of, I have to trust my teammates to find these kills. His position is found, though. Standy's going to take him down. Flash is at least able to contest, but there's nobody across the map.
Oh, Classic gets 3. He keeps him alive. It'll get us to another hard point. But look at that pinch kind of coming in because number 2, an attach spawns all the way out. We'll see what destruction he's able to deal as they fly on forward. They surge on forward. They can't get in. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch it. RØKKR pick up the kills. They close it out 3-1 in the map 4. Felt like there were moments where Surge could have capitalized and maybe walked away with a W, but in the big moments, it is RØKKR who get it done. And well, it was massive for either team, but a huge win here for RØKKR to keep that dream alive. Winners bracket start here in our stage 4 major.
Yeah, I mean they're in a good spot now, right? 2-1. There's still some tough matchups, but you got to be feeling pretty good with LA Thieves in Paris yesterday. It could come down to that matchup, just depending. But the side of Seattle Surge, there it is, 10-match losing streak. And if we show the scoreboard, really the difference is in those submachine guns again. I think it's both Standy and Attach right around 30. Classic gets going at the end, but Pristini struggling throughout that map 4.
Well, what's been the one
feels
constant?
Like there's always one. Yeah, there's always one that's off.
Has been Gunless and Octane. The SMG part, whether it's been Looney, Decimate, whoever's coming into this Classic, like that's where they've struggled to find the right fit for this. And until they can, it's going to be so hard when you think about all the teams in this league and the SMG firepower you have on a lot of these squads. I mean, think about it. RØKKR aren't even a good team right now. Like, they are middle of the pack. And you still have Attach and Standy, who are very, very good. It's just, it doesn't get easier for Surge when it comes to the matchups to that position.
I mean, take a look at it here, right? I mean, both Attach and Standy right around 5,500 damage. I mean, for Steve, while he is 19 and 33, he still put up almost his second highest damage output. So he was putting in work. So I don't think the kills and deaths really aggregates to what he was doing on the map. But for Minnesota RØKKR, the fact is you survived the 12 spree from Gunless. You survived the streaks when they were put in a really tough situation.
Let's freaking go, baby! Hey, I love to see that. The only thing that could have possibly dampened my hype right now is what Maven just freaking said. Now, what the heck? He said RØKKR's not even that good right now. Excuse me, sir?
Sheesh.
We are 2-1 in our group, and we are that much closer to securing an upper bracket spot in the next major, which, by the way, folks, will be on land. No more excuses, no more ping this, ping that, oh, my server here and that, oh, blah. No. We're back on the main stage, baby, at the stage 4 major. And now, like I said, we are 2-1 in the group. Big freaking win. I know we don't love checkmate, hardpoint, and let's just chop it up a little bit, before the post-game interview that CDL will do. We'll definitely make sure you guys see that. But Icon, what were your thoughts there on the hardpoint and even just the series as a whole there to get the win?
I guess first for me is that I feel a little bit bad for Octane. It seems like map in, map out. He's playing super well. He's, leading his team in KD, leading his team in damage, a lot of stuff like that. They just haven't quite been able to put it together yet. So kind of feels bad for Seattle being there 0-3 in the group, but I know we've talked about it earlier. I'll talk about it again. This was a super important victory. Right now, it puts us at 2-1. And as long as we can get one more victory, probably over LA Thieves, then that should be enough to secure a winners bracket berth. But again, this map specifically, Gunless absolutely went on like a 12 spree or something. He was able to use his spree to flip out for P5 right towards the end there. But as Merc mentioned, it was kind of the wrong time to do it, because that really set us up for P2 last set of rotations there. We had spawns, we were able to get one team wipe and then finish the map over towards P2. But if you take away that 12 spree from Gunless and those streaks, it's probably a much bigger victory than it ended up being. And in map 1, if you take away that fluke spawn from Octane, that's probably a win also. So you might look at this and see it did go to map 4. A lot of the maps were super close, but biggest takeaways is I just think that the guys played well. I think that Mike is he's gelling well again. You see a lot of Mike and Priesta kind of playing off of each other, and the S&D win, it was the most impressive S&D win that we've seen in, I don't know, at least the last stage. So it'll be nice if that can continue to develop, and we'll see what happens going into the rest of the stage here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the guys played really well. I mean, I know we're playing Surge, right? They are the last ranked team in the league, but I do think we've said it all year. They're better than their record. They get so close in some of these matchups. They show little shines here and there, but I guess, yeah, consistency is key, and you got to be able to close it out. So the fact that we were able to close it out was amazing. It looks like the guy, CDL, will be interviewing Standy shortly. They're not doing it yet. We'll make sure that you guys see that. Look at him smiling, jiving. Hey,
smirk.
3-1. Let's go. Hey, and both of our predictions came true. If you guys don't know, the Rotation Podcast, so myself, IKON, Kingdom Soldier, we are tracking our predictions all year. We've got a running tally. IKON and I were actually just talking before the match about, hey, like, whoever wins the prediction game this year, what are we gonna do for the winner? We're talking about maybe like some kind of belt we could put on our show. I don't know. It could get crazy. It could get crazy. The predictions, hey man, you gotta go big. But yeah, I mean, that feels really good to get a win versus Seattle. But at the same time, if you're looking at the group that you're in, this is one that you're supposed to win. If you want to be in the upper bracket or the winner's bracket, at the major, which will be on LAN, you gotta win these. Because now next weekend, we got a tough weekend at the office next weekend. Next Friday we play LA Thieves and we play Atlanta FaZe. Now LA Thieves, they've been up and down lately, but you never really know what you're going to get with them. I don't think we've traditionally had a ton of success against them this year, so that will be interesting to see. And then obviously FaZe, the juggernauts of the CDL, we're going to have to bring our A game next weekend. So this was one where it feels good to get the dub. I definitely agree that, Major Maniac really has blended back right in with the squad. And I got to say, I don't like to point out, I guess, players of the match too often, because it's a team game. Everybody's stepping up. Everyone's doing their part. There were so many clutch factors from multiple players today, but I got to say, Standy in the respawns is my MVP of the day. He was absolutely going off in the respawns, taking control where he could, and just completely taking advantage of being in good spots and just winning just crazy. He's getting crazy 2 and 3 pieces the whole time. He's frying. So it looks like we've got the Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I want to make sure you don't miss the interview with Standy. So we're going to send you guys back to the CDL broadcast, and then we'll be back right after the interview. I want to make sure we don't miss it. So enjoy the interview with Eli, and we'll catch you soon.
Hello everybody and welcome to your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me, I have Standy from Minnesota RØKKR. Congrats on the dub, man. Big stuff, a big win to put you guys at 2-1 this stage. Now, we know you guys are always working on things to try and improve the gameplay and try and improve the team as you go through on the way to the major. But what's your main focus been for this stage?
I think recently we've been trying to find 1 or 2 hardpoint maps that we're really solid at, so we can have a bigger pool. And also we just been really being hard on ourselves in S&D practice to make sure that we're playing really good S&D, because realistically S&D used to be one of pretty much our strongest game mode, and it's a really good mode to have a backbone on. So we're trying to get our S&D better, and I think recently in Control we've been really solid, so we're just going to keep practicing and getting better at S&D, and I think it's going to lead to more wins.
Absolutely. Now, I tell you what, something that has led to more wins, Major Maniac joining the starting lineup has certainly had a positive impact. What kind of impact do you think Major has in terms of the teammates, what he does for the team, and kind of how he can push you forward for the rest of the stage?
I think Mike's a really good teammate, and he brings a lot of intangibles in a way. I think he is really good at kind of controlling the map and making the map easier for you when you play. And I also think he's a really, really solid S&D player. So I think bringing him on board will help improve our S&D. Just like you saw in that raid, he had a really big map. So I mean, that's the goal. And Mike's a really good player. He brings a really good energy and aura around him. And I've been really liking playing with him so far. He's a great player.
I love to hear it, man. That's always a good thing, getting on with your teammates, isn't it? It's always a good thing. Now, you have 2 matches left, right? So you got Thieves and you got FaZe coming up. How are you going to use these matches to prepare yourself as a team heading into that major? Because it's going to be tough waters out there, Standy.
We're going to use these matches to like look back and try to fix some little mistakes we're making here and there, because obviously, like I said earlier, we're trying to get a bigger map pool, get a lot better at search and destroy. But we're just going to look back on these maps and also study the other teams and just make sure that we're getting in the right mindset and we have a big map pool when we play these other teams, and we can catch them off guard a little bit more.
Beautiful stuff. Now, Stanley, before I let you go, I hear you have a couple of shout-outs that you need to do before you go off and relax for the rest of the night.
So first, I'd like to shout out my mom, Mama Standy. It's her birthday today. She's 45.
Hey.
I just want to say I love you, and you're amazing, and I hope you have a great day. Then my second shout out is I want to give a shout out to Coach Vinny, if you know him out there. He's a solid guy, one of my favorite coaches at Vinny Gage. He's a great guy. And then lastly, I didn't forget you. Shout out Michael Berger, beast. And yeah, that's all.
Amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, some epic shout outs there. Happy birthday, Mama Standy. Incredible stuff from you. And I'm sure she'd be so proud of you today. So well done and best of luck as you go forward, man.
Thanks, Lottie.
Well, there we have it. We got birthdays, we've got shout outs happening left, right and centre. We've got Michael Berger also having a second shout out from his hero here.
Wow, man. That just was so nice. That was so heartwarming. The Standy's thanking his mom and the people that got him here. So sweet. I love the interview though. You know, what did you kind of make of his comments? Not only about like Major Maniac, but just kind of his approach to how we've been playing lately and how we need to play in the future.
Yeah, we touched on it right when we got the map pool kind of before the match started, that as you go up and down the maps that were played today, you didn't see a lot of the usuals. You didn't see the raid control. You didn't see, like, I don't know, just raid hard point. We see that pretty often. So I like the fact that they're playing maps like Moscow and S&D raid where they've only played 5 times throughout the entirety of the year. So I like the fact that they're playing more maps, trying to say, okay, you know what, if somebody's going to veto raid control, which is what we're most comfortable on, we have to have something to fall back on. So Garrison seems like it might be developing as kind of that backup go-to in control. And then also, of course, I love the comments about Major Maniac. The intangibles are a big thing, right? You always need somebody to bring in vibes, to just kind of set the tone. And then his play style also, I know we've kind of touched on it at length, both before this and on the podcast, but just the way that he utilizes the map, he applies pressure, he pushes the pace when you normally don't see play like that out of a main AR. I just think it brings a whole slew of things to the roster overall. And as of right now, 2-1 in the stage, and things are looking up.
You'll love to see it, man. 2-1, one step closer, as I said, to securing the winners or whatever, upper bracket, whatever you want to call it, for Major 4, which will be on LAN. I know I keep saying it, but it's just because I'm so dang excited, man. We're going to see LAN Call of Duty. Oh, I'm just so pumped.
Oh, it's great.
And you definitely want to put yourself in the best possible position to make a big run and possibly win that LAN event, and getting into the upper bracket will be majorly key for that. So the fact that we're sitting at 2-1 in the group right now feels good, but the job is not done. We play again next weekend. They have us on a couple back-to-back days during this stage. We will be back on Friday, June 11th at 3:30 Central Time for the LA Thieves match. You can watch that right here again with us on the co-stream. Myself and IKON will be back. And then on Saturday, June 12th, we play FaZe at 3:30 Central Time as well. So 3:30 Friday and Saturday. We hope to see you guys back at the co-stream. We'll definitely be breaking down, you know, the LA Thieves match before then. And we'll also be back actually for the Rotation podcast, which happens on Tuesdays at 7:30 Central. So, hey, man, I just gave you multiple times for multiple days. Content's a day. The RØKKR content's going to be coming out. Super stoked to keep talking COD with everybody. And yeah, man, it feels good to be 2-1. But like I said, the job is not done. We're never done. Play as one. All that. Hey, all the hype hashtags, baby. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you guys next week for another co-stream and hopefully for the podcast. Thank you, IKON, for joining me again. You're always great. Love your insight. And yeah, just love watching the matches with you. You're my match duo at this point. Like we just watch every match together. We the duo, baby. And of course, everybody in the chat, chatting their way, or if you're not even chatting, you're just watching, you got us up on the TV or something. Much love. Got to send it out to you. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time. Peace.